screen popped up.
Okay, everything on my screen is currently frozen, so... What is currently on? Oh, okay, hang on. Here it goes. Live for 47 seconds. Gah! What the frick? What the heck? Whoa. Whoa. Okay. It appears to be working. It appears to be working. Okay, now I have the chat's up now. Chat's up now. Microphone seems to be okay. Do. Ah, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. Okay. Okay, I think, alright. To anyone who watches this in the future, this was the first step to me streaming. Haha, it worked! Mwahaha! There's a bit of delay, but, you know, that's normal for that's normal for streams. Whew! Might have to work on the volume, because I keep peaking. I keep going into the red on my mic. Yeah, it's been up for a minute now. It's been up for 3 minutes now. It's not breaking, which is great considering my old computer was a piece of garbage. Yeah, I think we can pull this off. Might actually get an audience the next time we stream. Cool. Cool. Alright. I think the final test is opening Discord to see if everything breaks. Oh god. Oh, I hit the wrong thing. Minimize. Okay. Now I open Discord. Because Discord's the thing I need open to actually make it work. Everything on silent over there, or what's up? Oh. Hi. They've been out like 4 times already before you ask. I don't disagree. Problems with dogs. Discord is taking its sweet time to open, because of course it is. I had the most trouble setting Discord up on this laptop. Kept saying it wasn't going to download, and then it finally did the next time I turned it on. But, like, nothing ever actually popped up. This laptop is weird. Yep, still live according to this. But, like, nothing ever actually popped up. This laptop is weird. Okay. I can currently see my... It can currently see my desktop, which it shouldn't be able to do. Excuse the yelling. My grandma's trying to get the dog to go outside. It can certainly see my desktop, which it shouldn't be able to do. Gonna mute. Excuse the yelling. Gonna mute my phone so you can stop hearing that over it. Trying to make sure everything's working. It's installing an update 1 of 1. Alright, I think I'm gonna open this back up. There we go.
Did you say you're going to permanently disable people's Switch 2s?
Oh, yeah.
You're joking. Do I look like I'm joking to you, Red Box? You can't just break people's devices.
Good Lord.
It's personal property. Not true. Yeah, because it's not their property. What do you mean it's not their property? They bought it. According to our updated end-user license, buying a Switch 2 is simply buying a license to use Switch products and services. Wait, what? In fact, Switch 2 game cards won't have any game information on them. So game cards are just physical versions of digital keys now? Precisely. You're not gonna get away with this. You're gonna get sued. They won't be able to. What do you mean? We added that to the license agreement as well. So if they agree to the updated license agreement, they can't pursue any legal action against you? Correct. Somebody please wake me up from this nightmare. Did you say permanently disabled?
To anyone who heard that, avoid the Switch 2. Good Lord. That is so stupid. That is so stupid. I hope the backlash makes them realize what a stupid decision that was, and they change it. But I also know these companies, as long as they're making money, they're probably never going to fix it. And that's sad, because I was excited for the Switch 2 until I heard about that. Switch 2, because I want to play some of the new games that are going to be coming out. Alright, bro. I've listened to, like, some messed up things in the... I've listened to some really messed up things in the video gaming sphere. And none of them have really made me that upset, because, like, it's not really a game that it's not really a gamer system that affects me that much. Because it's not a game that I planned to play, or I was excited to play, or the thing ended up being entirely overblown, and it wasn't actually as bad as everybody was making it out to be. But then that actually makes me sad. That actually makes me upset. Because I was excited for the games that were going to come out on the Switch. Because the Switch has been my system for a while now. And I'm... And I know there's still going to be a couple of games that come out on the Switch 1. I'm aware of that. I'm going to probably get those, but that's for the Switch 1. I'm not touching the Switch 2. Not until they get their heads out of their rear ends. Oh, look, it's been 10 minutes. I can actually curse now. Not until they get their heads out of their asses.
Sorry, bro.
It makes me upset. It makes me upset. It makes me so upset.
Well, at least I let you know.
I already knew about it. You showing that just made me... I found out about it through another YouTuber.
I confirmed it, right?
No, it's not that it confirms it. I already knew it was confirmed because they're also a reliable source for that stuff. I get a lot of my gaming news through like YouTube and stuff at the moment. It's just it's very upsetting. I'm very upset about it. If I can get this to not pop me into... Oh, I know why it's doing that. I have it on display capture, so... Okay. Okay, so Discord is opened, finally. That's good. I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna change this to a window capture, because I don't want to make anyone mad on Discord while I have Discord open. I'm gonna have to work around that, because... So, this setup is currently not stable enough for me to run D&D the way I need to run it. Which I'm upset about, but it's not going to stop me from gaming. What I'm going to do is... What I'm going to try and do is... Okay, it's... I don't know if I'm frozen or not. Hang on. Looks like the stream is frozen with me. Good lord. Oh, it popped up now. What is the delay on this? I actually don't know. I'm going to change it to a window capture. Oh, okay, no, now it's... Okay, it wasn't frozen. But no, it's just... So, it's not stable enough for us to run D&D right now, which is upsetting, but I'll deal with it. It's not stable enough for me to run Perfect Draw, which also sucks, because that would be a really fun game to run. So instead, we're going to run a different game that is also near and dear to my heart that I've had ideas for a while, that should at least give the guys and me something to do until I can get a proper system to run D&D again. Which, yeah, I want to go back to Hellside. I really do. But until I feel comfortable that this system can run Hellside the way that it needs to be run, I'm not going to do it. So, I'm going to change this to a window capture. I'm going to add a source to the window capture. Add new source instead. Add source. Then I'll just have it capture this specific window. That way it stops capturing everything outside of this frickin' window. Oh, good lord. Yeah, this setup is incredibly slow, but hopefully once the game gets started, it will run a lot more effectively. I'll just have to have everything set up beforehand, which I try to do that anyway. Sorry if that noise is affecting anybody. I need something to do with my hands right now. I'm just bleh. Okay. Disconnected. Okay, I'm back.
That's not a good thing.
Well, it was figuring itself out. Switching over to the display capture. No, the window capture is what I needed on. Okay, I disconnected for a little bit. That's fine, though. Again, this is a test. It's good that I find those things out now rather than later. There's also the idea that someone else record while we're doing this, which I have brought that up to the guys. Patrick would probably be the one who we'd have record instead of me, which I have talked to him about that, and I believe he was okay with trying it at some point, but I wanted to see if this would work first, and it does work. It's just not super efficient for everything. And it would also require him to send me the videos. It would also require us to be able to work around what he has going on, and he currently has a lot of stuff going on. I'm not going to say what it is, because it's none of y'all's business. It's only his business. And if he wants me to talk about it, I will talk about it, but other than that, I'm not saying a word. But yeah, he's had a bunch of life stuff going on. And that's part of the reason we hadn't streamed in a while. And then my computer decided to frickin' crap out. I go to turn the computer on one day, it turns on, and then it turns off, and then it on, and then it turned off, and then it turned on, and then it turned off. And it kept doing that for a while. The old computer is not stable enough to do anything on. So I have moved a bunch of my stuff over to the laptop. I've even got my old hard drive hooked up to it. I've even got my hard drive hooked up to it, where I was putting a bunch of Steam games, which, note for anyone with any monicum of brain cells that is not me, don't put Steam games on a hard drive, because it will frickin' eat them. I found that out by accident. It uninstalled Baldur's Gate from my computer at one point, and then it took me forever to get it to reinstall, and it would not recognize it as being installed on my hard drive for some reason, even though it had functioned perfectly well up to that point. Alright, so I'm going to go over to Discord now. You guys shouldn't be able to see a thing. And I'm correct, you can't see anything. Great. Now I'm going to go into the Hellside Discord. Once it lets me go into the Hellside Discord, frick. Now I'm waiting for things to do what it's supposed to again. Streamer mode is enabled, usernames have been truncated. Okay, that's good. Alright. It's doing the thing again. I gotta wait for it to actually Discord does not want to work on this computer. It is very grouchy. This is really long for a test stream, but I suppose that's fine. I've seen test streams go for an hour. Huh. That's weird. I don't see Dominic anywhere. Oh, wait, no. No, that makes sense. He's at work. He's probably at work. I'm just used to every time I get on Discord, his Dom's username is somewhere. Because, like, he told me once he basically had the thing set to always online. Which I did not know was a thing you could do. Not that I'd do it. I prefer... I don't know how to continue that sentence. That one got away from me.
I might ask Jared about that.
Ask him about what?
How to do the thing with Discord.
Oh no, I'm again, it's not a stream problem. It is purely a hardware problem. This laptop does not want to do anything for me. But I can't afford a new computer yet, so gotta save up for it. It's gonna be a while. And no, before anyone makes a comment, I am not planning on getting some high-end gaming PC. I am going to buy the thing that is cheap and available, that has room for me to do crap on, and isn't broken. It'll just be newer than my old one.
You're looking at the cheapest of the gaming computers.
The cheapest of the gaming computers is still in the thousands of dollars. I'm looking closer to the hundreds.
There's one for $600 that's on my wish list.
But no, I don't mind.
You know how high, rare, shiny
I don't mind using a non-gaming computer for this stuff. Because again, I run most of my stuff through USB drives anyway, because I play a lot of emulators. And with all the crap going on with Nintendo now, emulators are not stealing. Emulators are there for when Nintendo does crap like that. Yeah, I recognize they're a company. They need to make money. They were making money already. They didn't... No, you don't... That is toxic, is what that is. That is... No.
You're just salty they got beaten by
You realize they're doing that on purpose to discourage the children from getting addicted to their shit, right?
No, that is not why they're doing it, Brittany.
They're
They're doing it because they want money and the ability to control all of their IPs with impunity.
I feel like they're being salty.
What they're doing, I think you have misunderstood what they're doing. If you do anything with the Switch 2 that they consider goes against what they want the product to do, even if it's just a small modification,
Huh?
they can turn your Switch off permanently.
What modifications? Even I'm not that smart.
You can mod a Switch. It's called jailbreaking. You're not allowed to do anything online after you do it, but you can jailbreak a Switch. I've never done it, and I never will do it, because I like...
I'm not that smart.
Respectfully, that's not saying much. I love you, but that's not saying much.
You're a pain in the butt.
Yes, but I'm your friend, which makes me still your pain in the butt.
You're mine first.
Point being, what Nintendo has basically said is that if you make any modifications to your Switch 2, they can hit a button and break your Switch. Immediately.
Or it's known as a gaming console football.
They can literally nuke your entire system. Also, you know those little plastic chips that had games on them? Guess what? They don't have games on them anymore. They're just a key that lets you unlock the digital version of the game. Exactly. Which begs the question of what's the point of physical games anymore? If you're going to do that. Don't make physical games if you're going to do that BS. The reason they make physical games is so you still have to spend 60 extra freaking dollars.
Yeah,
Actually, excuse me, 80 freaking extra dollars.
I think I'll stick to my original Switch.
Ditto.
I can find the darn thing.
You still have no idea what happened to it?
No, the kids lost it somewhere in the house. I got it clean.
Did you ever find your laptop?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Never could find my mouse. I had to get my back.
I remember now. I remember you telling me you had to go get a new one.
Two technologies we need to buy. Buy. One thing or another.
I want a new Switch dock. I want a new dock for our Switch 1. That's
to hook
Yeah,
up.
so we can hook it up to the TV. I want to be able to play on the freaking TV again.
You want mine? I only go handheld anyway.
Do you mean that? Yeah, I'll take it if you don't want it. Because, like, you don't need it to charge the Switch. You only need it if you hook it up to the TV. But no, if you're willing to give it, I would absolutely love to take it. It saves me $60, $80, however much the darn thing cost. The stupid things were expensive.
I'll only go handheld with my Switch anyway.
Okay, then yeah, no, I'll take that.
And we need content.
Yeah, there's another thing. My brother's Xbox fried.
And I'll even give you the little nunchuck attachments for the Joy-Cons.
I mean, we have those somewhere. Honestly, we prefer the little controller doodad when we go.
Where the hell is that?
I don't know. I think it's in there somewhere. We might have to get a new one. Although, to be fair, that's cheaper than a new dock.
You'll have to get your own charger and your own
Oh, we already have our own.
HDMI.
Oh, we already have our own charger, and HDMIs are pretty easy to come by in this house at this point.
Also, it's over here. Also, this is the charger for our Switch. Also, a charger for our phone.
Yeah, that's one of the fun things about the Switch is that it also it's a phone charger as well.
Mine stopped working. I have to use a regular C charger for my Switch.
Hey, as long as you can still charge it. But no, if you're willing to give us a CD dock, I would gladly take
That
that.
makes you wonder, did Nintendo make a phone?
A little bit. A little bit it did. And phones are not all that different. Okay, so currently everything's fine. Hey, Brittany, do you have Discord on your phone?
No, I don't. I only have it on my laptop.
I need to test making a phone call on Discord while this thing's streaming. Which, granted, I'm going to have most of this stuff up already before I start to stream, but I need to test it while it's streaming. Yeah, I know you have a new phone, so you don't have Discord on it to begin with.
I already installed Discord because I didn't have enough room on my own phone.
Yeah.
Because I've been keep updating and, making too much load to it.
Yeah, I know. Alright, so I'm gonna get into a call and see if that affects anything. It'll take a little bit, because, good lord, is this thing slow. Don't worry, by the time I start a stream, the next time we do this, if we end up doing that, we'll already be in a call, so we don't actually have to worry about that as much. Although my stream is currently frozen, so that is somewhat concerning. My laptop is decided it's angry. Yeah, definitely have all this stuff. Yeah, I definitely need to have all this stuff set up beforehand, is what that's telling me. If you guys didn't catch that, because I don't know if you did, considering it froze my frickin' stream. I see. In case you guys didn't catch that, my entire stream just froze for a second, as I'm trying to get into the voice channel on my Discord.
Well, you got something to tell the girls. You saw a shiny big board.
Okay, so the recording's been going for 44 minutes, or roughly that,
Now
because
you can brag about it.
blah 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 blah.
Me girls. I thought you were talking about him girls.
I got a Gmail from Streamlabs telling me congrats on my first stream. It's still going though, so. Oh, Mark Mac posted a new comic on Twitter. I'll watch that in a little bit, or I'll read that, watch that. Blah 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 blah. Okay, I'm currently connecting to the call.
You know how many
My mouth not work too good.
You know how many Vaporeons have Family Club? Shiny Vaporeons.
Okay.
Didn't catch the other two. I lost them
You know,
in the raid.
I will say this. If you catch extra shinies, those make great trade Pokemon.
That means my 2 boxes.
I know, but I'm talking like
Also, I did trade my Pokemon Go Articuno.
what I mean is if you have duplicates of any shinies.
No.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. If you get duplicates of any shinies that you happen to have, those make great trade Pokemon. Because everybody wants shinies, but not everybody wants to go and do actual hunting.
I like hunting.
Huh?
I like hunting.
Yeah, but not everybody does. I mean, look at me. I freaking hate shiny hunting. I don't shiny hunt because I don't care about shinies.
You don't like evolving Eevees the normal
I
way.
don't. No, I don't mind evolving Eevees the normal way. That doesn't bother me. It was just faster, given what I was doing, to go and get them every day at the freaking location. I evolved them all the normal way the next time.
And you saw the enjoyment how I did it.
Actually, no, I still hate evolving them all the normal way. Because some of them are frustrating, dude. Trying to evolve Eevee normally every single time is a gigantic pain.
About 5 of them is falling stone.
5 of them are evolving stones. There are 8 evolutions. 1 requires it to be during the daytime, 1 requires it to be during nighttime, and 1 requires it to be one requires it to be requires it to have like high friendship and know a fairy move.
And during the day.
No.
No, as long as it has a fairy move, it'll evolve regardless.
If it has a fairy move, it evolves during the day
No.
with high friendship.
No. Brittany, as long as it has a fairy move
You're thinking,
and high friendship, it will evolve into Sylveon.
You're thinking about Espeon.
Espeon requires the day and doesn't need to know a fairy move.
Sylveon
Sylveon requires a fairy move, but it doesn't have to be during the day. You can evolve Eevee at any time of day while they have a fairy move, to my knowledge. And they'll evolve into Sylveon like they're supposed to.
The funny thing is that I'd be closer to get bonded to your Pokemon.
No, again, I don't mind bonding with the Pokemon, it's just some of the activities they have to do it are kind of tedious and boring. Example, throwing a ball that you can't even guarantee they're actually going to chase. That was annoying. Making curry. My fingers still ache from that stupid mini game. And making a sandwich, I'm OCD. If it doesn't look exactly like the picture, I get upset.
I like making curry.
Fine, you like making curry. It made me angry.
I mean, you can catch champ Pokemon making curry. You have to catch a legendary.
I'm aware that
Guess what? Making curry.
I'm aware to get Keldeo. You have to remember, that wasn't the only thing you had to do to get Keldeo. You also had to catch the other 3 swords, and that minigame was frickin' annoying.
I get lost.
Speak for yourself.
Catching the other 3 swords was an annoying frickin' minigame, and was it the Crown Tundra, or was it? It was the Crown Tundra, right?
If it snows, crown.
Yeah, it was frickin' annoying, because you had to find those frickin' footprints!
Yeah, that tracks, because I never did that one.
That was so aggravating! I have so many problems with Gen 8. I love Gen 8. Gen 8's fine. If you like Gen 8, fine. I'm happy for you. The story of Gen 8 was so repetitive and boring, I wanted to cry.
Yeah, that's why I usually skip it out after a while.
If I had to hear Sophia say the same 3 lines. One more time, I was gonna crack my Switch in half.
Which,
Who's Sophia? But
The chick that becomes the professor by the end of the game. If I'm misremembering her name, I apologize. I don't even dislike her, but she kept saying the same 3 things every time you met her.
that's why I usually skip for dialogue.
Every time you meet her, she's saying things and acting like they're new discoveries that she didn't just say last time you talked to her. It was so frustrating.
I mean,
And then, don't get me wrong. I think, what's his name? The
Leo,
no, the final boss.
Sonya.
No,
Rose.
final boss of Gen 8 at the end of the story, the big evil dragon thing that turned into a hand.
Oh, that one. It's a poison dragon.
For some reason, I am blanking on its name.
I was referring to the NPC you were nagging about. Sonya. Not Sophia.
Okay, Sonia.
I have the Pokemon button. Oh,
He's-
no, never mind. I have him.
What's his name?
That's what it is by name.
Eternatus.
I named him right.
Eternatus does not bother me as a legendary. Don't get me wrong. What bothers me is
You get him level 100, he turns into a giant hand.
Yeah, he does turn into it. If you get Eternatus to a level 100 when he uses his unique attack, he turns into his Eternamax form for the attack as part of the animation. It's very cool.
Animation, he flies up and turns.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And he shoots lasers.
Yeah, it's super cool. I like that. Again, Eternatus does not bother me as a final boss of the game. I think the final boss fight could have used some work because that was infuriating. Especially because I played it in Shield and I got Zamazenta, who is, as much as I like Zamazenta's design, arguably a lot weaker than Zacian.
Yeah, it was particularly aggravating for me because my hacker stopped listening to me.
That's because you were underleveled.
You have to get patches to get more levels. So
If you do not have a correct number of badges with a Pokemon at a specific level, they won't listen to you. Also, there are certain attacks that if you click them, they keep doing them. Until either they pass out or they decide to stop. But no.
Look around, or they do that. Remember?
Yeah.
Whenever I texted this.
Eternatus has no build-up at all. There is no build-up to Eternatus as the final boss. He just sort of appears.
I like the raid. I like the band raids.
I mean, that doesn't bother me. I wish they'd done more with the Crown Tundra instead of making a bunch of side quests, because that's what the Crown Tundra boils down to.
The den raids, you can get legendaries.
Again, that's not what bothers me. What bothers me is the Crown Tundra was just a bunch of side quests. At the end of the day, you want to know what the DLCs for Gen 8 were? They were tests for Arceus and Scarlet and Violet. That's what they ended up being. They ended up being tests to see what they could make work and then recycle into Scarlet and Violet. And that's okay. I'm fine with that. But your base game suffered so much because its story was just so
I finally got growled on. I am mad because it's shiny. It's yellow.
What is Groundhog Day? That's not even what I'm talking about.
Now, I hate it's shiny though. It's completely yellow.
Anyway, it's just it makes me mad. It makes me mad that there's a lot of potential in the story for Gen 8. And I see that potential, but they did nothing with it. They never clarify anything to do with the story that Sonya was constantly going on about, where we find out that it wasn't two princes that stopped the Darkest Day, it was two Pokemon. But then Swordbert and Shieldbert exist, and they claim that no, it was two princes, and we're descended from them, and they are somehow able to do stuff with Dynamax energy and cause Pokemon to go crazy, and Gigantamax, and that it's never clarified what the frick is going on. It looks more green than yellow to me. It's never clarified what the frick is actually going on, and it's so frustrating.
Brittany. That's yellow.
I wouldn't have such a problem with it if they had just clarification anywhere. And Chairman Rose, I don't think would have made a half-bad villain if they had made it more clear what his motivations were. You don't figure out what his motivations were until right before the end game, where he just sort of comes out of nowhere and is like, oh, but we'll be out of energy in 100 years. I'm sorry, guess what? That's 100 years from now. That's a lot of time to figure out a solution between now and then. And the other thing is,
I'm sorry.
he technically succeeds. Because after you beat the story, and then go to one of the energy spots where you get energy in the game, it fills up more now. Because he did do what the Darkest Day was supposed to do. He technically succeeded. It's a very confused plot, is my issue. It's a very confused plot. It wants to tell a story, but it doesn't. Not to mention that some of the characters are so poorly utilized. Hop is probably one of the best utilized characters, despite people saying that he's just a carbon copy of Hal. Yeah, he does have the same energy as Hal. And is he always the character that I want to see? No! But he does have a complete story arc.
I'm sorry, you hate hunting down the legendary swords. I hate hunting down the legendary birds.
I didn't mind the legendary birds so much.
Don't get me a pain in the butt.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Actually hunting them was a pain. But the way they made you hunt them, that was cool. Hunting down the 3 legendary swords, you have to find freaking footprints. A whole bunch of them.
I have to, yeah, but hunting Articuno was annoying.
Honestly, hunting Articuno was not as big a problem for me. Hunting Galarian Zapdos was a pain.
And then I stepped in.
No, I figured out how to do it myself. Don't try to take credit for that.
For me, it was catching a freaking Onix.
You mean the Onix that I kept telling you weren't able to catch yet because you were underleveled?
I was trying to find it the same level as the other Pokemon that I
You
had.
weren't going to be able to. The only Onix in the wild area was the one you couldn't catch. You had to get more badges. I made the same mistake when I played it for the first time.
Lame.
Then I gave you a...
No, it is not lame. It's supposed to keep you from being stupidly overpowered when you go to the next gym.
And then I gave you
It's a balancing mechanic.
I remember you used the Eevee I gave you, Brittany.
Yeah. And then I made more Eevee and got every single evolution.
See, here's the thing. A lot of people are like, I'm going to bring in my stupid overpowered Pokemon from the previous game. Like, no, not on your first playthrough. Don't do that. If it's your first playthrough of a Pokemon game, don't bring in your overpowered Pokemon. Don't bring in your overpowered Pokemon. If you're going to play a Pokemon game for the first time legitimately, play it legitimately. Don't bring in overpowered Pokemon from... Like, I even mean that from the perspective of the frickin' pre-order gifts they give you with Pokemon games nowadays. Like, if you're going to do that, fine, but I personally don't like it. It feels wrong, it feels cheap, and it feels cheaty. And I'm not going to pretend I haven't cheated in a game. I haven't cheated in games before. Of course I have. I played freaking I played Persona 3 and 4 with walkthroughs.
Oh, you mean that overpowered Pokemon is level 100 and they found that they won't listen to you?
No, there are people who will just bring in their Pokemon from previous games and run an entire game with their old Pokemon. Or they'll like get eggs from the previous game or something like that and have them start at like level 1.
Oh, you cannot put Pokemon eggs.
No, no, what I mean is you have it be an egg, you hatch it in the previous game, and then it's level 1, so you transfer it over, and then you just level them up that way. And yeah, it still takes work, but the point is, you're bringing in Pokemon from a different generation that you have already perfected, quote unquote. And if that's how you're gonna play the game, fine. But like, it feels wrong to me personally. I'm not gonna fault anyone for doing it, but for me, if I'm playing a Pokemon game for the first time, I'm not bringing in any of my old Pokemon. I am playing it all the way through. I'm playing the story all the way through. I don't even really bring in my Pokemon from old games once I beat the game.
You did mine up right.
Yeah, but that was to help me finish the Pokedex. That's a different story.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
At that point, I had beaten the story. I don't focus on the Pokedex until I beat the story anyway.
Yeah,
Which actually reminds me, I still haven't fully beaten Gen 9's story because I haven't finished the second DLC.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I have the Pokemon you don't have. You ask. Yeah,
I'm still hoping the next Pokemon game's in China. I know I'm not going to be able to play it. I still hope the next Pokemon game's in China. The door just opened? The door did just open. Hi, Larry.
Hello.
Hi.
No, I just didn't expect anyone to come in. I'm currently testing out my recording software on the laptop. It seems to be going okay. It's annoying, but it's going okay.
I me a chance to copy a Shiny EV twice.
Yeah.
I told you about this. I went through May of outbreaks of EV. I hate the fact this Pokemon's hard to find.
I don't even remember what is the difference between a shiny Eevee and a normal Eevee? Is it just like a slight color variation?
It's like
And
a
I
snow
don't think
fox.
Shiny Eevee evolved.
Shiny Eevee do evolve, actually.
Yeah.
Shiny Eevee evolving is how you get a shiny any one of the evolutions.
Like this one.
That's cute.
Yeah, but you think that what? You think that hatched out of the eggs of Vaporeon?
No.
Here's an idea. Oh wait, no, I was going to suggest that you just get an egg, but then I remembered Gen 9 did that stupid thing where the only way to get an egg is by doing a picnic.
No. A shot, yeah.
Gen 9?
That's what Scarlet and Violet are.
No. It will come out in normal Eevee. You know how
Oh right, I forgot. That's so dumb. That's so dumb.
You want me to get me a shiny Eevee? You need Violet Steel, who, by the way, from their website, will have their website's name.
Yeah, we don't do hacked Pokemon. That's another thing. Hacked Pokemon are a pain. Steven went through this thing where he was doing bunches and bunches of Wonder Trades, which I told him was a bad idea. And then he found out why I was telling him it was a bad idea.
Oh, some of
He didn't know about hacked Pokemon.
Well, some of those hacked Pokemon turned out being real.
No, most of them were still hacked. Look, a Pokemon can be real and be hacked. If it has a website's name, 9 times out of 10, you cannot guarantee it hasn't been hacked.
I mean, that one person I found that one. I mean, I still have that French Jolteon. I don't know if it's been hacked or not. After it's holding, it's been hacked. You looking at an owner with 2 Master Balls right now. From Special Tree.
But no, again, it doesn't bother me that I know a lot of people have a lot of problems with Gen 9, and I have problems with it. It's not a perfect game, but I look at it the fact that it is their first open world Pokemon game. And people are like, but they made Arceus. Arceus was not open world. It was open mapped.
You have one area.
Which one of them was it where the human get attacked by Pokemon?
That was Arceus. I love Legends Arceus. Of Pokemon games, Legends Arceus is my number 2.
I hate the fact you get the Lord of Time.
Yeah. Okay. To everybody out there who might listen to this in the past or the future or whatever, let's be very clear about something here. In Legends Arceus, you are sent to the past by Arceus. By the end game, you have Dialga, who is literally in charge of time, Palkia, who is literally in charge of space, Giratina, and Arceus themselves. And people want to say you'd never make it back to your time period.
You have the power and the strength to do so.
The only reason you don't go back to your time period in-game is because there's not a point. A quick reminder that Nintendo has given you the option to go back in their isekai-style games before. They were called Mystery Dungeon. What they found out through Mystery Dungeon is that choice is pointless!
I actually loved Mystery Dungeon.
Oh, no,
Especially Gates to Infinity.
No. You're misunderstanding me. There's nothing wrong with the Mystery Dungeon games. What I'm saying is, the choice at the end of the game to go back to your own world and be a human again, or keep playing the game, is a pointless choice. It's a pointless choice. No one is going to pick to stop playing the game if there are things they haven't completed in the game yet and they know there's post-game content. No one is going to do that. No one. It's a stupid question. It's an unnecessary question, and there is no point in asking it. So it's not in Legends Arceus. You can go back whenever you want.
You have the Lord of Time. You can go back to your...
Although I will say the fan art that came out of the fact of the one railroad brother being stuck in the past is simultaneously very well done and very sad. I curse you. Stop it. Stop that. You're very mean.
You know who you are? Great job. Do more.
Stop. It's time to stop. Shake clock.
Stab the nerd guy, put you in there. Hold a giant digital clock.
But no, I have so many. Gen 8 is probably one of my least favorite Pokemon generations, and it's because it had potential to be great, and they did nothing with it. Like, all it would have taken would be some clarifying information that would make it work. Oh, and make the goth girl more important. They made Marnie one of the focuses of their advertising, and then used her so poorly.
I hate her fans.
I hate Team Yell. I respect their dedication. I will say that. I respect their dedication. My God, are they stupid, and they do not work as a red herring. They do not work as a red herring in the freaking slightest.
Bring back Team Rocket.
They do not work as a red herring against the actual villain in the slightest, mainly because no one's gonna guess that Rose is the villain! Sorry. I'm sorry.
I did.
Chairman Rose being the villain comes out of freaking nowhere. It does. There is nothing to imply that he is the bad guy. Nothing. Nothing in the slightest implies that he's the bad guy.
Honestly, it didn't really need a villain.
No, it's a Pokemon game. It has to have a villain because it's part of the formula.
Guy who cares about Pokemon turns out to be a villain. The girl's mother becomes a villain.
You know what it is? It feels like an overcorrection. Because, they tried having story in both Gen 5 and Gen 6. And Gen 7.
Someone who cares about Pokemon becoming the villain, wouldn't that make Brock the villain in Gen 1?
No.
No.
Because Brock wasn't a character in Gen 1. He was a gym leader. He was an obstacle you had to overcome. The only place where he was a character was the anime.
Misty was a gym leader and Brock was a gym leader.
Reminder that in the games, the only purpose that Brock and Misty serve were to be your first obstacles. And Brock certainly was an obstacle.
You have to catch
For the record of anyone curious, my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Yellow,
You have to catch it.
which was Pokemon on hard mode.
Gates to Infinity.
Pokemon Blue.
Well, actually, I take that back. The first Pokemon game I ever played was for Sega Genesis.
I don't think there was a Pokemon game on the Sega Genesis.
Yeah, it was like a multiplayer. You remember Clefairy and their metronome?
That was Pokemon Stadium, and that was Nintendo 64.
Ah, crap, I dropped my phone.
I know it was Nintendo 64 because I had it.
That was funny, though.
It's a great game.
But it's kind of stupid how it works. I mean, you
I
can...
dropped my phone behind
Then
me.
reach your hand down there and grab it.
You can pick your team, maybe middle form or evolve form.
Yeah, again, I had a lot of problems. I have a lot of problems with Gen 8. No one was going to guess that Chairman Rose was the bad guy. You didn't need a red herring because no one was going to guess
I
that.
still don't know who the boss is from Gen 1.
The villain of Gen 1?
Yeah.
Giovanni! Team Rocket!
The leader of Team Rocket, Giovanni.
I didn't know that was his name.
Yeah, he has a name. He's also the 8th gym leader. Yeah, don't ask how a mafia boss becomes a gym leader. We still don't know how gym leaders get
everybody
picked.
made a fan theory he's Ash's father.
Which no. Just no. Stop.
I actually had Lieutenant Surge.
Lieutenant Surge
Page
isn't...
is Ash's dad.
No.
No.
Okay, I want you to think about something. You're basing that off the fact that Ash has a Pikachu. Did Ash pick his Pikachu?
No.
No, he didn't. So why would that make any sense? Look, one of the best arguments I've heard for who Ash's dad actually is in the Pokemon anime is the character named Silver from the Pokemon Chronicles spin-off, where he's this older dude with gray hair who has a Pokemon that stays out of its Pokeball all the time. I don't remember what his Pokemon was. And he was surprised to find out that the character he was talking to knew who Ash was. Which we had never met this character before. Now, it's highly possible that the reason he knew who Ash was because he was in an episode that didn't get brought over to the States. I don't know. But it was a very good argument that I heard nonetheless.
Ninja, what are you doing?
Ninja wants attention. The dog is currently on top of her trying to get her attention. It's adorable. The stream has officially been up for an hour.
And by the way, I hate when they make villains so stupid.
Okay, let's see. To the person who's not played a lot of Pokemon games but likes Pokemon, Gen 1 was Team Rocket, the leader was Giovanni. Gen 2, the bad guys were Team Rocket, the leader was a grunt who I can't remember the name of. If anybody remembers the name of the guy who tried to restart Team Rocket in Gen 2, let me know, because I have no memory. Gen 3, you had two options. Team Aqua, if you were playing Sapphire, and Team Magma, if you were playing Ruby. They were the villains for different reasons. One wanted to create more land, the other wanted to create more water.
One wants to drown, one wants to burn.
Also, the canonical version of the leader of Team Aqua is Black from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, because daggum did they do a great job on those remakes. Ninja down. Nope, you're not doing that to me. Go over there.
Hey, $200 for this thing.
Ninja.
Or am I thinking of the other one that I had?
Anyway.
I think it was the other one.
Anyway, point is, Gen 4 was Team Galactic. The boss was named Cyrus. Gen 5 was Team Plasma.
The guy who cares about the Pokemon.
The character that Steven was talking about. Gen 5 was Pokemon Black and White. The leader of Team Plasma was a guy named N, who cared deeply about Pokemon and was basically raised in the forest by Pokemon, but he was being manipulated by a guy who just wanted to control all the Pokemon in the world.
Basically, out of the wild.
A little bit, except he was actually a pretty calm dude. N was pretty chill. He was very calm, very level-headed, very, very kind. N wants all Pokemon to be free, which, you know what? That's very nice. But some Pokemon canonically choose to be with humans. And I say canonically because certain people like to argue that Pokemon are forced to be slaves. No. There are Pokemon that choose to be with people. There are instances of that in both the anime and the games. So stop saying that.
Guess what I called Batman?
Anyway, what I was saying was, the N was being manipulated by basically a cult leader into basically running a cult to free all Pokemon, and all they were doing was making the actual villain more powerful. N was the boss of Team Plasma. He wasn't really the true villain. He was misguided, and then the villain ends up being his adoptive father, whose name escapes me.
Yeah, that's pretty much...
Getsis, that was his name.
That's pretty much with Arietta. They recruited her because of her linguistics with animals.
Right, and they were just using her, yeah.
I wish they...
That's the other thing, N can communicate with Pokemon. He doesn't straight up speak Pokemon, but he can kind of understand them in a way that other people can't. And then Gen 5 was Team Flare. I don't hate Team Flare, but a lot of people... Okay, so Gen 5 introduced the concept of the ancient Pokemon War, and let me put it this way. Gen 5 is the game that's about to get... Gen 6 is the game that's about to be turned into the next Legends game, with Pokemon AZ, which should be released, which I believe is also getting released on the original Switch, which I will most likely be buying if it is, eventually.
What's up with the weird Pokemon that look like letters and numbers?
You mean the unknown? Nobody knows. They're called the unknown for a reason.
Entei was weird.
Okay, so no, actually, a lot of people misunderstand what the frick is going on in the third Pokemon movie. A lot of people understand what the frick is going on in the third Pokemon movie. Entei wasn't real.
What do you want?
Hey! Ninja!
Get off me.
Get off the bed.
Ninja.
Go over there.
Come here, Ninja.
Sorry, the dog has decided to be a menace today. Ninja, over there.
Girl's here. Hello, Ninja.
She wants attention. Love on her.
Hello.
Anyway, what I was saying was, in the third Pokemon movie, Entei isn't real.
Don't choke.
None of it is real. The unknown made a figment of Entei based off the imagination of a little girl.
Suicune's still my favorite.
Suicune is the best. Suicune is also apparently canonically the leader of the three beasts.
Is that the one that ended up saving Celebi in that movie?
Yes. Yes, Suicune did in fact help with that, because Suicune purified the water. Which, you know what, for being one of the important characters in that movie, Celebi was the main focus of that movie. But no, Pokemon, the third Pokemon movie, the Entei that was in that movie wasn't real.
It's kind of
He
sad.
was a figment of the little girl's imagination because she said her dad was like Entei. The unknown don't know the difference between people and Pokemon. So what they did was they made an amalgamation of both.
It's kind of sad.
Get it?
Right.
The fairy.
They took the sadness and emotions of a little girl who was unstable because she missed her daddy and turned it into the crystal-colored nightmare that was going on throughout that entire movie.
The fairy, the three legendary dogs, Entei, Suicune, and I forgot what the
Oh
other-
yeah, you mean the theory that they were a Jolteon, a Vaporeon,
Fairy.
and a Flareon that were resurrected and turned into something greater by Ho-Oh?
But they were dying in a house fire and all that.
They didn't die in a house fire. They died when the tower that you have to climb in the game burned down.
No house fire.
It was not a house fire. It burned down an entire tower. That is not a house fire. That is a conflagration, my friend. That is an inferno. You hear dogs arguing in the background. I don't. They have decided to be very, very, very energetic since Brittany arrived. They're also currently on top of Steven's left arm. Must be very interesting for him. But no. So I personally like the theory.
I'm gonna bite one of them.
I personally like the theory that Suicune, Entei, and Raikou are all used to be Eevees. That's probably not accurate, but I do kind of like that idea.
That's sad though.
I also have really bad news for anybody who likes Lugia. Lugia is basically not canon. Lugia is barely canon. Ninja!
I can't get off of me.
She wants to be saved.
Get down. Either lay down or get down. You ain't doing it with me. Ninja, you're busy. You need to chill out. Just lay down. Anyway. Stop. Stop. She's about to bust herself into Nana's room again. Lay down. Lay down. That does not mean come here.
Ninja, get somewhere and lie.
I wish she'd just lay down. But no,
She's old. She doesn't listen to anybody.
Come on, Nick. Get up here.
So, what I was saying was, Lugia was not intended to be the second box art legendary for Gen 2. Lugia was only made the second box art legendary for Gen 2 because of the second Pokemon movie. That's part of the reason that anytime the events of the second Pokemon, the events of Gen 2 come into question, what Pokemon do we see? Because it's not Lugia, it's Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh is the Pokemon we see. Because Ho-Oh actually fits into the lore they wrote.
And the free legendary birds were.
Also, I'm going to be very clear, I really, really wish they have done what the artistic representations of Pokemon were in Gen 9 and Gen 9.
And nobody explains one gym leader has Articuno.
Not referring to that at all.
I mean, we're talking about legendaries.
No, I changed topics. Technically, I am talking about legendaries, but I'm specifically talking about the artistic representations of the fusion of the three beasts and the fusion of the three swords that were shown in Gen 9. And then we got the frickin' robots and the Dino Suicune. Look, I think Dino Suicune is cool, don't get me wrong, but I would have preferred the image that they showed us in the book. Because that looked cool. Ninja, lay down.
Oh no.
I'd like to point out she has put her mouth in that toilet water too.
Ew. Get off.
Come on, Ninja, get off. Off.
Anyway, alright, we have officially been out for 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 30 seconds in counting.
And we're talking about Pokemon.
And we've been talking about Pokemon a lot.
Oh,
This is basically an episode of Talking in Tangents.
Holy shit, there's a giant snake in space!
I love those videos. I love videos where it's like they just look at all of the Pokemon and give them random names. Steven did his own interpretation of that. He didn't record it or anything, but he did his own interpretation of that. And he did like the 3 legendary Pokemon from Gen 3. Hang on. Get off. Go over there.
Come on, Ninja. You're ashamed?
And let me see. It was a whale. Godzilla! Oh my god, there's a snake in space!
You love that one?
I love that.
No, you forget. No, it's Godzilla! Be Lily! Oh my god, there's a giant snake in space!
Another good one is Mew. Cat. Mewtwo. Cat 2 needs catnip.
I mean, their ears make them look like a cat.
They do look like cats. They do look like cats. Although it's worth noting that Mew is basically supposed to be a fetus.
Yeah.
And then Mewtwo is supposed to be a fully grown version,
Yeah.
which, that's weird.
But that's still my interpretation.
The anime always makes...
Fire dog! Fire dog! Thundercat!
Yeah, because, like, Entei looks like a dog, but apparently he's not. Actually, no, apparently they're all supposed to be cats. Entei looks like a dog. Suicune even kind of looks like a dog. but apparently is like a. It's like a. I believe Suicune's actually supposed to be like a cheetah or a jaguar or something. I don't remember. One of the skinnier, fast ones. And then Entei's meant to be a lion, and
Yet they call it.
and Raikou is meant to be, I think, a tiger.
It looks like a tiger, so.
It looks like a saber-toothed cat is what Raikou looks like.
Yeah, but they call them the legendary dog.
Actually, no. They have never been called the legendary dogs,
Yeah,
except in some English material. Their names are the legendary beasts. Which they are just 3 dogs, or they are just 3 cats, apparently.
son.
Which is part of the reason people now discredit the idea of which is part of the reason that people now discredit the idea of the evolutions being their previous states. Although I would point out that Espeon is based off a Necromata, which is a cat. And for anybody who doesn't believe me, look at Espeon's tail and tell me I'm wrong. The Necromata is also known as the split-tail cat, which is what Espeon has, and Espeon has clear cat interpretations. Honestly, I agree with a lot of people that if they're not going to make any more evolutions, the evolutions should get evolutions.
I mean, they,
Should get, like, dual-type evolutions. You know? I think that'd be very cool.
I mean, they are missing different spots.
There's enough of them now that if they did it right, every single element would be covered by dual typing them. You give each of them a dual type. And Umbreon, I will agree with everyone else, should be a dark poison type to make their frickin' Pokedex entry make more sense.
Oh, that dark.
The thing about there's in the Umbreon Pokedex entry, it says that it has poison, but if I remember correctly, Umbreon doesn't even learn any poison moves and is a dark type, so.
No, it just knows Steel. It will learn Steel, Iron Tail.
Yeah, but like there are plenty of Pokemon that learn Iron Tail.
And no Shallow Ball, and that's usually a ghost type move.
But no, I think it would be a very cool idea if they gave all the evolutions dual type evolutions. And before you say that wouldn't work, I'd like to point out we've had Primeape since Gen 1 and they didn't give it an evolution until Gen 9, where we found out that if it dies, it evolves.
What?
Yeah, that's Annihilate's entire deal, is basically it fights so hard that its heart explodes and it comes back from the dead. Out of pure rage. I love Annihilate. I love Annihilate so much.
Power is an angry spirit.
Yeah, I love Annihilate so much, dude. One of my top favorite Pokemon at this point. A lot of my favorite Pokemon are ghost types.
Oh, look, a green sign. Oh, crap, the green sign can fly.
Green Sonic. That's Steven's joke name for Shaman. But no, my favorite starter at this point is Suicune because he is my little guy. My favorite Pokemon of all time is currently Mimikyu. I freaking love Mimikyu.
I do
yeah.
not have a Mimikyu.
Oh, Shaman? Yeah, no, not Shaman. Celebi. We get it. We can fly.
No, Celebi would be, Celebi is, reminder that Celebi's entire thing is time travel. You can give it a better name than that.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes everybody fly like pixie dust. We get it. Wonderland.
That's one of my favorite Pokemon. Pokemon Forever is one of my favorite Pokemon movies. What was the movie after that? Was the movie after that Pokemon Heroes? Wasn't it? The one with Latios and Latias?
Yeah.
A quick reminder to everyone, the Pokemon movies are not canon to the anime. I don't care how many times you try to convince me they are not. The timeline does not make a single lick of frickin' sense. Then again, neither does the timeline of Pokemon in general, so whatever.
I wonder.
Yeah,
these...
otherwise they would have aged Ash Ketchum other than
If
keeping him
if
dead
they
forever.
if they aged Ash the way he should be, the man would be in his 30s or 40s. He would be frickin' old.
He'd be my age.
He would either be Steven's age or Mom's age.
But see, the Kanto region came out in what year?
Oh no. If you go by what the first episode release date, he's even older than that. Because he starts out a 10-year-old. He'd be in his freaking 60s.
Yeah, he'd be a gym leader by then.
Again, we don't know
With a kid.
Again, we don't know how gym leaders work. We do not know how gym leaders work.
Oh, red and blue, huh? I wonder. That reminds me of something. Show picture of plus on behind him.
If they had aged him
Let's see. Okay, so
chronologically, instead of keeping him 10 forever, he'd have a kid by now.
yeah. Well, no, he wouldn't because the last time they tried to give Ash a canonical love interest, the internet got angry.
Oh, please.
Everyone
ships him and Misty, and you know it.
Actually, that's part of the problem. They gave him a canonical love interest. Well, kind of canonical. It's arguable. Serena. Gen 5?
I mean,
Gen 6?
there was so many companions.
Gen 8 was Galar. 7 was Alola. 8 was England. 7 was Hawaii. 6 was... Why am I blanking on 6?
People are so mad at you right now.
5 was... 6 was France. 6 was France.
Yeah, that tracks.
No. Yes, because Gen 5 was New York. My brain was switching 5 and 4. God.
People will get so mad right now.
In Gen 6, they introduced, I believe her name was Serena?
If you were FaceTiming, I can see subtitles in the background. People get so mad by now.
You can be heard. I've already... This mic captures freaking everything.
Hey!
I'm pretty sure you'd be able to play D&D from the freaking bed at this point.
Oh, that's neat.
But no, Serena... At the end of Gen 6, Serena kisses Ash.
Ew.
Technically, they don't show it happening on screen, but it is heavily implied. Because Serena has had a crush on Ash since the beginning of that season.
And that is so confusing out of the blue.
And no, it was not out of the blue.
Everyone threw a fit because they had him and Misty shipped.
No. Brittany, I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to answer me honestly. How many seasons of Pokemon anime have you watched, and how many girls do you think he traveled with?
There are so many.
I have never seen him travel with any female.
Misty, May, Dawn. Misty, May, Dawn. Iris, Serena.
Who's Iris?
Iris was Gen 5. She was a member of the Dragon Clan. She's the final... She is the... It's head of the elite. She's like the champion in Black and White 2, right?
Yeah,
she's the champion in Black and White 2.
And she owns a dragon sanctuary right now.
Is she the one with the axe?
Yes.
I didn't know she was part of the group. I only watched the pilot.
Yes, she's part of the group. When they got to Sapphire and Ruby, they got rid of Misty and Brock. Well, they got rid of Misty. Got rid of is a strong word. Misty was called back to her gym to go do her job.
And then they put another female.
And then they replaced her with another female character. Her name was May, which is the playable character from Gen 3, which is why most people consider May at least somewhat canon. Also, only canon relationship in all of Pokemon manga is Brent. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, because it's like 3 different pronunciations of it. Is Brendan and May from Ruby and Sapphire. They're the only canonical couple.
I think I remember him from the movie 2000.
He wouldn't have been in that one. That's
I
Gen 2.
hate that guy. I'm sorry. I hate Brandon.
Why?
He always runs off without thinking.
Well, that's because only if you play as May.
No, even in the male version he does that.
You're Brendan in the male version. That's the male player character, you doofus.
Easy now.
I
call him doofus all the time. I call you doofus all the time.
No, and he does it in the shows too.
He wasn't in any of the shows. What are you talking about?
No, in the shows he runs into things.
He wasn't in any of the shows. That's what I'm telling you. Brendan has never been in any of the shows.
Yep.
You're thinking of the blonde from Gen 4. You're thinking of the rival from Gen 4.
Yeah.
That's not who I'm talking about.
He looks like Brandon to me.
No, he doesn't. That is a completely different character. He's the one who's always in a hurry and telling you you're late. Brendan is the other option other than May.
The same. If you play the female.
They're the exact same character. What I'm telling you is, they are the option. They are the pickable protagonists. They're your rival if you pick the opposite gender. They aren't. You're thinking of the rival from Gen 4. I promise you, you are thinking of the rival from Gen 4. The blonde dude in the orange and white striped t-shirt. And yes, he's very annoying, but that's not who I'm talking about.
Yeah, he runs into things and I don't like it.
It's still not who I'm talking about. But no, once they hit Gen 3, they got rid of Misty and they brought in May. At the end of that, once they did the Battle Frontier stuff, May's like, I'm gonna go to Johto and go do Pokemon contests there. Okay? That's also where they introduced my favorite gay man in all of Pokemon, Harley.
Harley?
He's dressed up like a cacturn. He has purple hair.
You mean the gay guy?
Yes! You know exactly who I'm talking about.
I'm sorry, who?
I've shown you a picture of him before.
The guy.
There is no heterosexual explanation for that man. There is not. His name
Unless
is.
he's just flamboyant.
No, he is. No.
Remember Ogresh from the Glass Mail?
You mean the character that I created? Of course I do. Here's the thing. He does not flirt with women. He only flirts with men. He actively makes Brock uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Harley is. Anyone who tries to tell me that is a straight man, I will. No, I'm smacking you in the face. You don't understand. No. You're in denial, my friend. That is not a straight man. Harley is. Harley is May's gay best friend. Is what Harley is.
I'm sorry.
He ends up that. At first, he's kind of annoyed and she doesn't like him, but they end up being very.
I gotta tell this story. Okay, first time I watched, what was it? Sheldon.
Big Bang Theory. You've told her this story before.
Yeah. After I first saw Sheldon. Gay.
And yet he ended up with Amy.
No, he's referring to the actor.
Oh, yeah. He's absolutely gay.
Yes, he is.
And then after my birthday,
I didn't think he was, and then you told me he was gay, and I'm like, wait, huh? But
My
no,
gay
His
daughter.
husband's actually not that bad looking, actually.
there are lots of
My,
you think gay equals unattractive, then you don't understand.
our
But
mom.
no, after May goes off and does her thing, we're introduced to Dawn, who is who much like May is fresh into being a Pokemon trainer and meets Ash. Dawn makes a lot more mistakes. She is also the
Also, I don't think that gay means unattractive. That's rude.
no, but it's what you implied.
No,
Yeah.
not even.
Unintentionally. You unintentionally implied it. Watch how you speak. It's all I ask.
Grammar.
Grammar's bullcrap anyway.
No. It's not grammar that's the problem. It's it's inflection and how things are put.
You are beautiful on the inside.
Technically, it's a compliment.
All bodies are beautiful.
No. I'd like to point out what Steven just said is technically a compliment. It's a backhanded one, but it's a compliment.
You're a
Backhanded
beautiful.
compliment.
You don't know what a backhanded compliment is? It's
No.
a compliment that's an insult.
I'm sorry.
Your eyes are really blue. Almost too blue. See how it made you feel? It's like, what the frick?
No, that confused the hell out of me. Like, what?
It's like almost too blue, don't you think?
You're
It's still a compliment. It just doesn't feel like a compliment. You're beautiful on the inside.
on the inside, not on the outside, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's backhanded compliments are weird. Anyway, point is, Dawn was a thing. Dawn was also a Pokemon coordinator like May was, not a Pokemon trainer. And she did her thing. She ends up becoming a Pokemon fashion designer instead of going straight into.
And there was the mini game.
I don't even want to talk about that. Drop that.
But no, the
You can
really
design
ugly-
your own Pokeball and
Or-
Pokemon.
the really ugly male characters are usually the ones that are perverts.
No. Sadly, no.
Oh.
Jiraiya from Naruto is still pretty decent looking for being an
I'm
old man.
sorry, you forgot one thing. James with boobs.
I don't want to talk about James with boobs. I don't want to talk about James with boobs.
What?
So there's an episode of Pokemon called The Beauty and the Beach. In the episode, Ash, Misty, and Brock are having the worst time because they keep finding themselves in debt and trying to find ways to get out of debt by making money with odd jobs. They end up forcing Misty to enter a beauty pageant
Oh dear.
in which Jesse and James have both also entered. Now I know what you're thinking. How can James enter? He's a man in an all-female pageant. Simple. They put him in a disguise where he's wearing makeup, and then he hits a little button or something, and
That's literally every costume he has.
No. There are some costumes where he dresses up as a man in the early show. There are a few. It's just they are massively outnumbered by the ones where he dresses up as a woman. Also,
I still remember that one.
I am confused. Why? Is he a cross-dresser, I'm guessing?
well, okay, let's look at James's backstory. He ran away from home because his family doesn't understand him and is forcing him into a situation that he doesn't like, involving marrying a woman who he doesn't like, and
Who looks almost exactly like Jessie, but with prim and proper hair.
I would not call her hair prim and proper, but
And very forcefully.
let me put it this way. He may not be canonically gay, but his story has made a lot of people
And
look
his,
at it and be like, that is a gay icon.
and his
He's
first.
not, of course, he's not going to marry Jezebel because he likes Jessie. He just won't admit, or he won't admit it because he's too freaking stubborn.
Oh, I like his first Pokemon was a Growlithe.
Yes, I love Crowley.
Oh, I have people watching.
What? Who?
There's 2 people who are currently watching my stream.
Uh-oh.
We've been on long enough that it doesn't really matter. We're not going to be on much longer, but, you know,
Oh, God.
I just happened to notice that.
Oh, God, we ran so much.
Yeah. Again, this is just a test. There's a reason it's called testing. We have been on... We've been recording for almost 2 hours.
Hello, 2 people.
Don't know if they're still here. But, you know, there's been comments made. But no, well, people have looked at James and been like, that's a gay icon. And if that's how they want to view James, that's perfectly fine. I have always shipped him and Jesse.
Yeah, me too.
And there are people who are like, there are people who do both. They ship James, they ship James and they ship Jesse and James, or they ship Jesse with one of her many male suitors, or occasionally a female one.
Didn't they ship her with Ash's mom one time?
No. So that's a...
I can't imagine.
So there's an artist on Twitter. I think they've actually also moved to Blue Sky, but there's an artist on Twitter. Her name is... if I get this wrong, I apologize. I believe it's Kiana Mai. It's either her handle or her actual name. I don't remember. I love her art. She has great art. She worked on the show Big City Green from Disney. She also recently released a pilot for a idea that she had, which is Pretty Please, I Don't Want to Be a Magical Girl. Which is, it takes all of the anime tropes from a Magical Girl anime and like flips them on. It's very fun. It's very. She has a magical staff that she can turn into any weapon, and she turns it into a metal pipe, which she uses to beat the crap out of the dude who's attacking them.
I've seen that clip.
It's great.
I would do the same thing. I was in her shoes.
Right? Like this is faster. It doesn't have to be pretty. This is faster.
But except for a metal pipe, I use a crowbar.
She really, really just wants to be a normal girl, and her career as a magical girl won't let her be one.
Yet, the magical pixie.
You mean the star that keeps following her around?
Yeah, the one's always like Link's fairies. Hey, listen.
Look, the thing is, she used to be really into being a magical girl, but she's burnt out. She just wants to be normal now, and I don't blame her.
Use the metal pipe.
If you think about what a magical girl has to go through, oh my God, just let them be.
Nobody has normal jobs.
To anybody who has the stomach, for it, I recommend, if you want to see a story that actually goes along, a much darker story. I want to pause it. If you want to see a story that does the exact same that exact same plot, but much, much darker, like, that predates Madoka Magica, look up Sailor Nothing. It's not animated, it's an online novel.
Oh.
It is super freaking dark. There is a specific chapter that I am warning you, it's not going to make you very happy. You're going to have weird feelings about it. I still have weird feelings about that particular chapter. No one died. There are worse things than death, and that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, living.
No, that is not what I mean. It's dark, and it wears its inspirations on its sleeve. It's still really well done for what it is. I recommend it for everybody if anybody has the emotional headspace and the stomach for it. I do recognize it is absolutely not for everyone. But I enjoyed my read of it. It felt like an accomplishment to get to the end of it, and there are things about it that I still think are weird and need worked on, but it's fine.
Boy.
It's also an old story. There's a part where two characters are going to the movies and they're going to go see the princess. They're going to go see the Princess Diaries 2. That should tell you how old this is.
I love the Princess Diaries movies.
I find them incredibly entertaining.
God, chick flick.
At this point, this is an episode of Talking in Tangents, is what this is. For anybody who doesn't know what Talking in Tangents is, it's my podcast
Oh, great.
sort of thing that I've done on YouTube and haven't touched in
Great.
ages.
Now this is a testing becomes a podcast. What?
This was going to turn into a podcast no matter what. This is me just testing things out, making
Let's
sure
use
everything's
the
working.
radio voice. Welcome to the world of the podcast.
No. Anyway, the but yeah, but no, after Dawn, so Dawn becomes a Pokemon fashion designer, and then in Gen 5 they gave us Iris, which is the first time they ever used a character who wasn't one of the playable characters from the game. And then in Gen 6, they gave us Serena, who was a playable character.
What was Gen 6? Is that one girl who's scared of Pokemon, was it?
No. That was Lily from Gen 7.
It's been so long, dude. Can you blame me?
Who, yes, who does in fact get shipped with the main character of Gen 7. Regardless of gender, I might add.
Well, alright.
Don't say ugh. I heard that.
I can't imagine people shipping Jessie with Ash.
No, that doesn't work. Jessie is only slightly younger than Ash's mom. Ugh, no.
There are people out there.
I don't care. Ugh, no.
No, I wasn't saying that.
I can't. Yes, but it's the timing at which you said it is why I can't see what's on your screen.
If you did that before, I know who you are.
Oh, another person popped up. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Don't know how long they're gonna be there.
Don't mind us.
Don't mind the fact that you're just looking at my OBS Streamlabs at the moment. I didn't know how else to do this. And I didn't want to put a camera up.
We're just talking.
Just testing stuff out, making sure everything's going okay. Have been live for almost 2 hours. Have been recording for almost 2 hours.
Yeah. How long this test is going to last, we don't know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see everything's going to... To be fair, letting it run for 2 hours is probably not the worst thing, considering our game sessions usually run us about 2 hours.
Yeah.
So this is probably not the worst way to go about testing this.
I'm in the background.
For anybody who's curious, that's my brother in the background. You might know him better as Joker Jack. Or if you've ever met Iron Scarab, whatever the numbers after your name is, on Xbox, on any Xbox Live online thing, then you've also met him there, because that's my brother. And no, he did not come up with that name himself. The Xbox gave it to him, and he thought it was cool, so he kept it.
Look at that weird name.
I got football fan something, and I'm like, no.
And he saw mine and, oh, come on!
Yeah, I'm like, that's actually a cool name. What the frick?
That sounds like
Why do I get freaking football fan?
That sounds like an Alabama or a Decepticon name. I got this.
Iron Scarab actually does. I'd say Iron Scarab probably closer to a Decepticon name than it is an Autobot name.
No, Decepticon.
Insecticon. You
Yeah.
still put a D at the beginning, dude.
Yeah,
But no, what I was saying was...
Transformer 1.
What I was saying was Kiana Mai is an artist on Twitter who did some actual work on some things.
That
And
Transformer looks like a field.
I know what you're talking about. Who does actual work on like actual stuff. And she, I don't know why she did it, but she started drawing comics where Jesse and Ash's mom were a couple. They are so cute. They're so cute and I love them so much. They are wholesome and fun to read. One of my personal favorites is she did a little arc where Ash's mom and Jesse went to a ski resort, right? And they were at a bed and breakfast that was there, and it was run by Cassidy, the other Team Rocket girl. Who in her headcanon is Jesse's ex.
Oh my goodness. I remember that episode actually, the Pokemon spa.
Yeah, but again, this is in what she created.
You mean the other team is got Houndoom?
Yeah, Jesse and Cassidy, Butch and Cassidy.
What's a Houndoom?
Why are they all named after outlaws?
Oh, because in Japan, their names are references to historical figures from Japan.
I have a dead dog.
The pairs in Team Rocket, each pair is named after outlaws from
Not
America.
in Japanese, they're not. Ash's name is not Ash in Japanese. It's Satoshi.
Also,
Misty's name is not Misty in Japanese. I don't remember what hers is. Brock's name is not Brock in Japanese. Anybody who knows Pokemon in Japanese better than me can correct me, but if I remember correctly, Jesse's name in Japanese is Musashi, which is the last name of a famous historical samurai. In Japanese, their names are references to historical figures.
They
kept the pun going in America by changing it from historical Japanese figures to historical outlaws because they're criminals.
Jesse James, Butch Cassidy.
Exactly. Additionally, another great example of this is in the Pokemon Chronicles spin-off anime. In the episode featuring Raikou, they met two other characters who were named Attila and Hun. Attila was the girl, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's right.
And I did not realize Hun was his name until I read it in one of the in some of the like top 10 Pokemon books that got released later, where it listed them as Attila and Hun, and I'm like, wait, oh, that's why she kept calling them Hun. I thought they were just married.
Oh my goodness.
But no, in this particular comic, Cassidy meets Ash's mom, and Cassidy's like a full foot taller than Ash's mom. And then it cuts to another comic. This one is not canonical, but my God, I wish it was. My God, I wish it was. Where Ash's mom, whose name is Delia, by the way, is taking her stuff out of her bag, and it just says, "Your ex is a bitch." And and Jesse's just like, "Oh!" It's like, she made you swear! I loved it! It was so funny! It's one of my favorite images from that collection. Again, it's not even canonical to the story she was writing at that part, but my God, was it funny. And Kiana kept the face that she used for Jesse canonical, because later when Cassidy makes food for them, being that they're at a bed and breakfast that she's running, she makes a comment about the way she cooked it for Jesse, And Jesse's like, oh, I like it the other way now. It's like, wait, but I tried making it for you that way, and you said you didn't like it. It's like, oh yeah, weird. And then Delia makes a comment, like, well, I guess she just needs the right person to do it. And Jesse just goes, oh.
Oh my gosh.
It was great. Look, you can say you can have your opinions about the fact that this is absolutely a crack ship and would never actually happen. My God, I love it.
I saw a video.
I honestly hope she makes more because she hasn't posted comics for it in a while. She's been very busy with like the whole pretty please I don't want to be a magical girl stuff.
I saw a YouTube video. Jesse and James have kids, and
I've also seen those. Those are also
Ash
really cool.
is the uncle.
Ash is the uncle. He has not changed in the slightest.
Still have a Pikachu. The kids have a Pichu.
He got them Pichus.
That is funny.
And Team Rocket and Jesse and James are now good guys, but because they still wear Team Rocket uniforms, they still get attacked by the cops.
For some reason, it looks...
Yeah, they have different versions of the Team Rocket uniform.
No, it looks a lot better on Jesse for some reason.
But no, Jesse and James are some of my favorite parts of the Pokemon anime. I miss them a lot.
Why they break the fourth wall? That's hilarious.
Well, in the movies they break the fourth wall, and they break the fourth wall in the movies for a very simple reason.
They break the fourth wall in the animes too.
Yeah, but not.
Oh, why didn't we think of that sooner? We have to fill 30 minutes.
Yeah, but no, they do it in the movies because it's a movie and they're the comic relief. All of the other characters are off doing all of the really serious stuff. They're just there to feel the air.
The fourth wall break for the Glass Bell campaign in the Halloween part. I'm like, not to break the fourth wall or anything, but what's up with the Final Fantasy reference?
What Final Fantasy reference? Remind me.
Where Ochi dressed up as a Moogle.
Oh. Because it was funny. I didn't need an explanation. I had Ochi dress up as a Moogle because it was funny.
Course. Rock Madness!
Did I tell Dom about that? For anybody who doesn't know, Ochi is a character that Dom created that he let me use in my home campaign with Brittany and Steven. And no, I will not be recording that campaign for the simple reason of Brittany doesn't live here anymore, and we are so far into that campaign and cannot start recording it at this point.
That makes me have to start the whole thing over.
No, we wouldn't have to start it over. They didn't start over Critical Role when they started that. It starts halfway through an arc.
Actually,
I just don't feel comfortable doing it that way.
What would you say if I asked if I could animate that? Because
I don't know. Well, first off, you'd have to figure out how. I don't.
I recently found out that it doesn't take much to animate it. I just need a special tablet.
The tablet is stupid expensive. I would also recommend artist gloves.
Wait, what?
Artist gloves. Oh, they're these gloves you wear on. They're basically fingerless gloves, or like partially fingerless gloves, so you can still make contact with the pen properly, but also won't mess up the screen while you're drawing.
Right, because it doesn't detect the touch sensitivity from the glove.
Exactly. Okay, would you grab me one? You want a Coke?
Steven, you want this other one?
He's already got one.
Okay.
Not actually Coke, it's Faygo. We just call it Coke because it basically is.
It's a cheap version of Coke.
It's cheap. Adam almost tripped her. Alright, we have been live for a grand almost 2 hours.
Yay.
2 hours and counting. Well, while I'm here, I might as well say this. If anyone's listening to this, go to Tubi and watch The Edge of Sleep. It is a show starring Markiplier. Markiplier did a bunch of work on it. In fact, just interact with all of the Edge of Sleep content. Go listen to the podcast. Go listen to the Edge of Sleep podcast. Go read the Edge of Sleep book. They're all great. I love all of them. The moment I finish the show, I interact with all the other media. I want more of it.
I think a choke on that.
Say hi.
I want more of it. I want a season 2 of the podcast. I want a book 2. I want a season 2 of the show. To anybody out there, I hope more content comes out from The Edge of Sleep. Rock on The Edge of Sleep.
Confusion.
Also, a little bit of support for Iron Lung, which he's
Well,
still having help getting into the theater.
Yeah, well, see, that's part of the reason he wants people to interact with Edge of Sleep on Tubi. The better Edge of Sleep does on Tubi, being the fact that he is one of the people who helped get it there, and the fact that he is the lead actor on it, the better he looks when he goes and tries to talk to people about this movie and get it put in theaters.
Thank
Because
God
right now,
Tubi.
he talked about this on the he talked about this on the video he released shortly
I
after.
didn't know for that gross video. There's a weird fruit, and I just don't like the looks of it.
What was I saying? He talked about it on his most recent video, his most recent live that he did on YouTube, where he was talking about the fact that every time he goes and talks to someone about getting this movie freaking put in theaters and all of that, they don't know who the frick he is. It's like they don't even do research about the person that they're about to do a meeting with.
It's like they don't even get on YouTube.
Look, here's the thing. Mark does not go into these meetings like, oh, everyone knows who I am. I'm one of the biggest names on YouTube. He's like, these are professionals. They have the sense to go do research about the person they're about to have a scheduled meeting with.
And yet they don't know him from Adam's House Cat.
Exactly. I feel like I understand his. Obviously, I can't properly understand his pain, but I can understand his annoyance at that fact that they care so little that they don't even take the time to find out who they're talking to.
I just got Tubi on my phone.
I recommend it. It's great. It's a good show. When it was on Amazon Prime, I watched it 7 times. It was great. I loved it.
And then-
Don't let the girls watch it. It's a bit
horrible. And horrifying.
it's a little it's got some pretty horrifying stuff in it too. The elephant man might upset Emily. Might upset Olivia more than Emily, actually, now that I think about it.
I
Don't.
know.
It has some disturbing imagery, but it's not outright gore or anything. I want to be very clear about that.
She won't.
They don't actually hurt elephants, do they?
No.
No.
He's called the Elephant Man. He's not actually an elephant. It makes more sense in context. I will put it that way. I'm saying
Let's
about
just
context.
say
Excuse me for a minute.
if the girls watch it, she won't. Emily won't trust her stuffies ever again.
I think what I find fascinating is the changes that they made between the podcast and the show. The show is more like the book than it is like the podcast, but it's still different from the book. There is some stuff that happened in the podcast that obviously had to get cut out because it was it's a bit much for live TV. It's a bit much for live action TV. I'll go ahead and say it. There was a character in the podcast who is only known as the God. What did they call him? The intruder. He is only known as the intruder. He never gets a real name. And he was a serial killer and serial other thing that I'm not going to say. And he doesn't do anything on screen, technically, though he definitely threatens it and implies it. So, yeah. I will say that the podcast is actually a lot funnier than both the book and the movie. Both the book and the show. Don't get me wrong, the show has humor in it, but like it's that dry humor you come to expect from like a horror project. It is not meant to be a horror comedy, it is meant to be a psychological horror, and the comedy is to lighten the mood before they smack you in the face with the next thing that's going to terrify you. It is not excessively scary, but it's very... It's atmospherically scary in a lot of places. I'll put it that way.
Everybody don't trust Chucky.
Hey, is there any regular bread here?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, sure. I believe it was on the counter.
Tie up tight. We don't want cockroaches in.
Yeah, we don't want bugs in it.
Put a sandwich bag in as well. Hold on.
But yeah,
In the bag.
Alright, we have officially been recording for 2 hours. Alright, with that, I do believe I'm going to go ahead and end this. Let me see if I can get it to actually pop up like I need it to. Cooperate with me. Cooperate with me, laptop. This has been a test. This has been a test.
Slash
Of the...
/ tangent.
oh, one more thing. I'm still trying to get subscribers and watch hours on my channel.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried about any of that. I don't... If people come in and watch this stream, that's great.
I'm
If
trying
people...
to get monetized for extra cash.
I'm not worried about monetization in the freaking slightest. You want to know why? Because I only do this for fun. I record our game sessions because it's fun and I like being able to post it.
Yeah, I enjoy it too.
And the old guys goof off.
Yeah, it's like the guys goof off. Which I have some bad news for anybody who's waiting for the next installment of Hellside. Not only is it going to be a while, 2 entire streams, 2 entire videos did not record. So we're going to be coming in at it. We're going to have to give a description of what the frick happened before we can even get into the game. Granted, it was during downtime, so if anything, if any time were a good time for the recording not to work, it's during downtime. But it still sucks because it was a lot of fun. Because they were at a festival, they did all this really fun stuff where like they did all these games. Yulon got into an arm wrestling match with a Goliath who had the ability to make himself larger twice.
And
he won the arm wrestling match.
And Joker Jack beat someone in archery.
Yeah, Joker Jack beat someone in archery. That was great.
Joker Jack's got many hidden talents, apparently.
They were very good sessions, and I'm sad I don't get to post them. But the next session's going to be very fun when we finally get to it, once I'm comfortable with the stability of my setup. Until then, I'll go ahead and say it. The game that we're going to be playing until I have a stable setup is called Digimon Guardians of the Server. It is going to be using a modified version of Kids on Bikes created by Digi Destiny, which is the name of the channel and the game that they play. I highly recommend, if you haven't watched Digi Destiny, go watch it. It's so good.
We may be playing something else. We're not sure.
But no, that's what I'm saying. We're going to be playing a Digimon game that I'm calling Digimon Guardians of the Server.
We should make a Pokemon server.
No. That's not how that works.
Oh, come
Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. If you were here, I'm glad some people got some entertainment out of this.
Some may
Have an absolutely wonderful day.
And I hope, and with Be safe.
Be
Be safe. Don't do drugs.
I guess I